Namaskaram, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege continuing the topic of pragmatic leadership with you. So, in the last few episodes, we have been discussing about the various aspects of leadership. I'm sure that you must have seen the videos that I have been constantly sharing on a regular basis and then getting benefited out of it. Continuing our discussion, one more important aspect that we need to appreciate as human beings, that how far we have the opportunity to keep continually exploring the various aspects of life. Vast majority of us have been born, we have been aspiring to become somebody, and then some of us chosen certain field of specialization. Like for example, as a mechanical engineer, I chose to become a product designer and then pursued my entire life in developing my skill sets to become a more and more proficient product designer. So in the same way, someone must have chosen a career to get into a finance department and then would have pursued more and more learning about financial accounting. So in the same way, all of us without any exception continue to choose our field of operations in our life and then try to keep on building our skills and competencies and knowledge, etc., in that field to make progress. With the result, we have come to some kind of a paradigm that we are those kind of specialization we have chosen. For example, I became a mechanical engineer and then the product designer, for example. So I felt that throughout my life, I'm only a product designer. One important concept I came across with my mentor, Dr. Dharani Sinha, when I went through the personal growth lab with him at the age of 43 or 44, he brought an interesting concept called whether human beings are products or they are processes. You know, it's a very insightful kind of investigation that whether you are a product or a process. So let's examine what is the difference between a product and a process. When you take a television, for example, the television has got only one kind of capability that it can transmit certain programs to you. And if you take, for example, the video camera that is currently shooting, has got certain capability of taking pictures or videos and so on. So you will find that everything that you see in our life, they are all products basically. When you say a product, it has got a characteristics. It can do certain things, but it cannot do anything else. That is why you call it as a product. So, human beings, for example, we generally tend to think that we have become a product. Like for example, I felt that I have become a mechanical engineer. That's an end state. A product is an end state. But when you look at yourself as a process, for example, let us understand what you mean by a process. Taking an example that cooking is a process. Now, when you say cooking, what does it really mean? I can cook a rice, I can cook a pulao, I can cook a chicken fried rice, I can cook a Manchurian, and so on and so forth. So when you call something as a process, it has got the ability to produce many different products. That means a process is a one which is a set of activities which can convert an input into an output. That is the definition of a process. That means when you call cooking as a process, that means it is not a one product basically. So it has got the capability to produce multiple products. In the same way, when you look at human being as a process, that means they will be able to become anything. So that means at any given point in time, they need not necessarily feel they got stuck with the one particular way of living or thinking or a paradigm. So having introduced this concept of whether you are a product or a process, it all depends on the way in which you look at yourself. When you look at yourself as a product, that you have become an end state. That means you can't do anything other than what is the end state you have already visualized for yourself. But when you see yourself as a process, that means you at any point in time in your life, you will be able to do anything. So why are we discussing this? So whenever we are getting into any particular vocational profession, and if you are going to see us as a product, that means we have no redemption. That means we get stuck with that particular end state, which I have already put a label for ourselves. But when you look at yourself as a process, that means you could become anything. Probably an accountant can become a supervisor in a shop floor, or he can become a purchase officer in a purchase department at any given point in time. So it is a very interesting and very important outlook for a pragmatic leader. That means what is that he is visualizing himself as. If he is going to visualize himself as a product, then he becomes an expert. When he visualizes himself as a process, then he becomes a leader. So it's a very important aspect that for you to consider. So please evaluate what is your current paradigm, whether you think that you are an end state or whether you have got the possibilities to do many things in your life. Just to give a final anecdote to you, just to appreciate this. I was not knowing anything relating to the music, so it was totally a subject which is unknown to me throughout my life. So at the age of 60, I realized that I need to have some kind of extracurricular activities. And my daughter introduced that, Dad, why don't you do something other than your profession all the time, you are engaged with your work. So I just bought a keyboard and started learning. So in the last 10 years, I have become so proficient in playing keyboard. So this is possible only when I thought that I am not a product, I am a process. So utilizing my faculties that God has given to me, I may be able to shape up myself into anything. So this is a very important concept for anybody to consider that he wants to groom himself as a leader. Thank you very much. I hope this session is useful to you. Look forward to see you soon in other sessions. Take care. God bless you.